recording. And we are live. Hopefully you're enjoying the first quarter of the Celtics game, which I have to check on what the score is right now. My bad. Celtics game. All right, as of this, they're down 8-17 in San Francisco. We're going to a game 6 anyway, so you can put the Celtics game on mute and listen to us for a little bit, talk politics, and we will probably go to halftime, and then I'll catch the second half. So, Kaitlin, we are back. We are back.
And we're back on Monday night, too, after I've had such a crazy last few weeks getting the pool ready and working the pool recently.
My Olympic size or near Olympic?
It's 25 yards. Olympic is 50 meters.
50 meters. So double the size. Okay.
Yeah.
I've opened my pool like a week before Memorial Day, so it's been open. I haven't been in it once yet.
And you're a pool guy.
I know. I just, it hasn't been hot enough.
It was hot as hell today. Oh my God, I was sweating it. So bad outside.
I was at work, and then I did a little jiu-jitsu after work, and then had a very healthy dinner of asparagus and salmon. And I'm going to do my best. I'm drinking. This is club soda, or I should say seltzer, with a splash of cranberry for flavor.
Ooh.
Low calorie, trying to get in shape to have a beach bod. Unsuccessfully. Did you know what? All right, I'm going to put in a plug. This show is not sponsored by them yet, but I love Hood ice cream. Hood ice cream is so good. They created this peanut butter cup flavor. And do you know what they do, Kaitlin?
What?
They take little, like Reese's style chocolate peanut butter cups, and they throw that in the ice cream, which is always good, like chocolate chips, kind of similarly. But do you know what they also do? They take peanut butter sauce, and they weave it, and they fold the peanut butter sauce into the ice cream itself. It is. Are you a peanut butter person?
So, okay, I have some stuff to talk about with ice cream. So I hate milk. Like,
what? Are you lactose intolerant?
When I was a baby and little, like, I had a hard time with milk. I wasn't ever allergic to it. I just had like a really hard time with it.
Okay.
And so I have never been a huge ice cream person, but I do love peanut butter. So like if I ever had like cake or anything like that, love that stuff. But ice cream I can have frozen yogurt because like the lactose part of that is like different, but like just straight up ice cream with all that milk is not good for me.
You get the poops, like nauseous or yeah.
No, that's not the reaction, but it just is not. I don't feel good.
Okay. Well,
like I feel lethargic. Like it's not great.
Well, when I eat half a tub of ice cream late at night.
Oh my! Well, you're super tall, so you could probably eat that and like get away with it. And then you talk about eating healthy.
No, I listen. I attempt to eat healthy. Let me tell you something. There's all these fad diets. There's the keto, and there's I guess Atkins or high protein or
the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, Mediterranean diet, all this stuff. Here's the bottom line. It's calories in, calories out. If you have
that's the way that I treat it too.
If you have a normal dinner, get some moderate amount of exercise, and after dinner, finish dinner around latest like 7 o'clock, and don't snack afterwards, you'll lose weight. Don't be a fatty like me. And I go right. I don't even scoop it into a bowl. I go right for the tub. I go spoon into the tub, and I start eating my Hood peanut butter cup ice cream. It's so good. I cannot. It is the best ice cream that you can.
So I just have such a hard time relating because I'm just such a cake person.
Cake,
like a big
special occasions.
Like a big piece of like chocolate cake.
I'm a vanilla cake, vanilla frosting.
Oh my God.
Always. Oh, so good.
But like,
Or like,
Tom Cotton likes birthday cake.
birthday cakes are great. Sheet cake.
Birthday cakes are okay. Sheet cakes are great, but I like chocolate cake the best.
Sheet cake. Let me tell you something. The best cake is supermarket cake. Not a fancy.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Not a fancy bakery with the heart.
Terrible. They're always terrible.
The ones that look really good from a fancy bakery.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they're you can't eat them. The icing's too hard. No, it's gross. The best, you go to like Wegmans or Stop and Shop. Fantastic cakes. I mean, those bakers, they're so good. They're so good.
Yeah, Stop and Shop has great ones. Like, I mean, like even if you get the cheapo cakes from like Whole Foods, it's still good.
Yeah. Whole Foods. Do they play
it
straight?
My God.
Do they play it straight, or do they get into the like not real cake? Because I can't.
I never touched the not real cake, like all the vegan stuff.
It's horseshit. Okay. All right. Let's get back into the episode. And now we did our cake and ice cream. So don't
cake and ice cream.
Beach bod season. Wear sunscreen. All right.
Wear sunscreen, everybody. Again, if you ever need any recommendations for sunscreen, you know where to go. You know who to ask.
Ask me, and I'll tell you Coppertone. Coppertone SPF 30 Sport. That's all you need. That's all the sunscreen you're ever going to need.
Everybody wear SPF 50 at a minimum. Thanks.
So this week marks a very important day in America's history for journalists. Anyway, the January 6th hearings took place. And you can always tell something is really critically important when every single journo out there is telling you how important it is. And people around you are just kind of like, eh.
Well, it's like the Mueller report. Remember when the Mueller report was like the big thing? It was like, the Mueller report, and like then you see like pictures of like people in DC going to bars and there's like cocktails named after portions of the Mueller report.
Oh God! Well, hey, Kaitlin,
cringy.
I think with this committee, this committee, this primetime committee, I think the walls are finally closing in.
We're on season 6, episode 35. The walls are finally closing in this time.
Look. January 6th was a horrible day. Okay? It was a bad, bad day. When I cannot take seriously the people who want to make it the next 9/11 or worse than Pearl Harbor or whatever analogies that they're putting out lately. I can't. Okay, because it's prefaced, it's sandwiched.
It becomes a joke, right?
Yeah.
So like I've said on Twitter, so January 6th is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday, January 6th.
Yeah, happy birthday, January 6th, the Epiphany, and apparently the worst day in American history, in front of 9/11 when we were attacked by Islamic radicals and terrorists, and then Pearl Harbor when we were attacked by the Empire of Japan. The Civil War.
I can think of I can think of 5 other examples off the top of my head that don't even touch January 6th. It was bad. It was a bad day.
Bad. I think we've all said that it's bad, but like when you take an event like that and you compare it to something like 9/11, where I mean, Jeff, like people were jumping out of buildings on 9/11. Like that. Yeah. I mean that was like one of the worst days of my life, watching it on TV as a middle schooler, and
it was the worst day of my life, bar none.
It was scary. It was scary. I thought that January 6th was sad, and I was sad on that day. I was sad on my birthday, but it was nothing like 9/11 and what I felt afterward.
The forced enthusiasm of the journalists, and even journalists on the right, specifically, I know our old pal David French, who they want to constantly revisit this as if the rending of garments. Did I say that right? Is it rending of garments? Is that like the
like?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like a phrase like it's just like they want to relive it over and over again. I don't know what they expect to get out of it. Now, maybe there'll be a few nuggets. I've heard a few things. Are we going to get an indictment of President Trump out of this? I don't think so.
We don't know. So the Washington Examiner said that Benny Thompson said that we're probably not going to get one, and the DOJ makes that decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, Benny Thompson is like not one of these people that I personally like that is on this committee, because he decided to vote against the electors in 2004.
Well, and this is the other part of it. I have to hear from people like Ed Markey and Catherine Clark in my state, and Ayanna Pressley, who never even acknowledged that Donald Trump was the president to begin with in 2016. They openly, everything they do, everything that Trump did after being elected is somehow illegitimate, and that's their word, illegitimate Supreme Court, illegitimate law, illegitimate this, because they don't think
illegitimate Supreme Court is the one that gets me the most.
Yeah, and they just oblivious to the fact that like they're influencing this. This is what's coming back around. We had, I'm not excusing it, but we had a summer full of riots during 2020. Nobody batted an eye. The journos didn't care. That is what led to a lot of what happened on January 6th. You had Trump pumping conspiracy theories. He lost. Okay. And people, and you tweeted,
he lost. I mean, it was very clear after probably that Friday after the Tuesday election that he had lost. He had lost Pennsylvania, and he had lost Arizona for sure. And he lost, and he spread that he didn't lose. The one thing that did come out of the committee hearings that was interesting was that Ivanka Trump accepted Bill Barr's assessment of the election.
Well, she's never really seen eye to eye politically with any of the Republicans. She's always been, wanted to be accepted by New York polite society, and that would be liberal, right? She can't get,
right.
That's the circle she runs in. So it makes sense that I don't know if that'll ever happen, right? You can't, she's sullied with the name Trump for the rest of her life. So she should really embrace the folks on the right and perhaps the more intelligent aspects of it.
I think she kind of did after the way the left personally treated her over her father's presidency. But at the same time, I think that she's pretty smart in the fact that it was like, yeah, like I accepted Bill Barr's assessment of the election.
Well, Bill Barr was right. And he was,
I still have not read his book yet. I need to. I hear it's good.
I'll check it out. It's probably very good. He was quoted on some video about Dinesh D'Souza's 2,000 Mules documentary about, and like the evidence and the cell phone evidence. You quoted about a clip on one of the clips that came out today. So go scroll through Kaitlin's Twitter to get to that. And the way I looked at it, when I haven't watched 2,000 Mules, and I'm not going to knock it before I see it. I'll maybe at some point I'll watch it and take notes, and maybe that'll be a fun project. We can do a movie review of 2,000 Mules.
Yeah.
But here's the fundamental question here: if there were 2,000, I'm assuming there's 2,000. It's the name of the title. Give me the name of 5. Pick 5. Go interview. Go stick a camera in their face. Maybe that happens in 2,000 Mules. Maybe 4, maybe 3. Find them. There are people. You're gonna tell me this one instance they're keeping such a tight secret on election fraud? Look, and I know it happens. It happens probably more often than we care to admit. But you got to prove it. You got to catch them. You need evidence and proof. I haven't seen the Kraken. Have you seen the Kraken?
It never existed.
It never existed. It didn't.
The Kraken, what's one of the funny things about the quote unquote, the Kraken? They think that the Kraken legend was actually the giant squids.
Did you know that? I did not know that.
So you know that they knew that giant squids existed for a long time, but they had never found one in the wild until I forgot what year, but it's relatively recent. They had only found dead carcasses of them around Japan and in
And
Pacific Ocean.
the boats weren't that big then either. So
Yeah,
so a giant squid could totally just wrap its tentacles
yeah,
around a
because
smaller
yeah,
boat.
so they actually think the Kraken is giant squids.
That sounds
Sorry, that's a side point.
Nah, it sounds
I'm such
plausible.
a dork.
But no, but there no. Well, maybe, but not. Don't worry
So
about
maybe it's something
that.
else, right? So, but then again, she said the Kraken is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actually something else, and that something else is that, and it needs to be acknowledged this way. The Trump administration did not do their background work on election law in specific states, and they also didn't hire the election lawyers that they needed in order to win state lawsuits on this. And they hired not great people to help lead this project. And they discussed this on Ruthless in depth. But yeah, they just didn't do a good job here. And I think that a lot of people who voted for Trump 2020 and really support him, and again, I voted for him in 2020 because I was angry about what happened over summer 2020.
Same.
You know, they really won't let this go.
Well, I wonder this because this is bleeding into some traffic I'm seeing of those who are, and I'd call them die-hard Trump supporters. Some of them, not all of them, where I knew this would start to happen.
Yeah.
The resistance of nope, got to be Trump 2024, Trump 2024, and there will always be that. But those people are starting to melt away. And they're not talking about Tom Cotton, and they're not talking about Nikki Haley. They're talking about Ron DeSantis. And
Big Ronnie D.
I pretty much think it's a foregone conclusion that he will beat Trump. I'll say that.
I think he has the greatest. So that's the thing. So people like to say that Trump has like this built-in 30% of the Republican base. That might be true. But we're going into 2024 in that primary season where a lot of people are like, well, RDS won't run if Trump runs and all this other stuff. And the thing is I think that a lot of people don't understand that Trump is not the same that he was in 2016 and 2015. He's going to go into this primary season being quote unquote the top dog, but not the best prepared. I personally think to go into it.
He's going to want to refight 2020. He can't let that go. He can't. He's not capable of it. And when audiences see that, they're going to go, come on. I'm paying $9 for a gallon for gas. Like that, they're not going to care that he thinks that he won 2020, even if they might agree with him. They're not. They're just flat out not.
Well, the thing is there's 4 years difference between those two, or 3.5 or whatever, between those two time frames, right? So again, like you're going to see inflation through the roof. The Democrats are not going to be able to get this under control. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing on it. And you're going to see Trump talk about an election from 3.5 years ago that might be not what you wanted, but you have a lot of kitchen table economic issues that are going on. And if Trump is not speaking to that, like he did in 2016, because he did, right? Like he spoke to immigration, he spoke to a lot of taxation coming out of the recession under Obama.
American jobs, like just
American jobs. Yeah. If Ron DeSantis stays laser focused on that, and picking away at Trump, not fully knocking him in the face, and fundraise, you can do this.
Yeah, of course he can. Of course he's going to have,
because Trump's going to have to go on the defense, right? Like you want him on the defense. Yeah. You want him having to go on defense for the election, and RDS, we want you go on offense. So
yeah. And DeSantis can almost ignore him to a point. I mean, at some point he won't have to, but
well, they're gonna have to share a debate stage, right?
At some point. I mean, of course, Trump could decide not to run. I mean, look, I would say I think it'd be healthy.
And RDS is not Ted Cruz. He is not Marco Rubio. He is not Jeb Bush. So we'll see.
Here's the funny part about it. It's like we saw what Trump did to those other guys. All it takes is a good one-liner off the cuff. You know, Trump tries to hit DeSantis. DeSantis says something, whatever, and boom, and that's the moment, and that's the done. And then it takes him down a peg. And then everybody goes, oh yeah, it's over at that point. And then Trump all the air gets sucked out of his campaign immediately, and that could very well happen. Jeb Bush was not capable of that. Okay. In other news, they tried to kill a Supreme Court justice last week.
Yeah, that
and
was
apparently
pretty insane.
Apparently nobody gives a shit. Okay. Moving on. I
mean, they passed the Senate unanimously passed the production bill for Supreme Court justices, and then Nancy Pelosi last week, when a reporter had asked, she was like, "They're protected." It's like, this is an assassination attempt.
Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing more and more political violence taking place by the left, as usual, at pregnancy care centers, at political headquarters, fire bombings of pregnancy care centers, you know, pro-life pregnancy crisis.
I mean, there was a chance that Dobbs. My blood pressure this morning when I saw those protests going down in front of the Supreme Court. I was like, oh shit, are they going to hand down Dobbs today?
I think they're. I mean, well, do they usually come down in June? Yeah, I mean, so they come down now anyway. Soon. So they might push it out. But I mean, we've got to get the true adults have to come back in charge here, because this is just there are straightforward, tangible solutions to 80% of the ills that have befallen our country, and we're just not doing it. Nearly any of it. Our cities are falling apart. Crime is skyrocketing. We're gonna get
crime is skyrocketing so much that Chateau Boudin was recalled in San Francisco by, what was the margin? 58?
20 points, 60-40, give or take.
Yeah, that's insane, guys. So San Francisco, before the recall of the school district, the school board had not recalled an official since, like, what was it, like 1914? It was it was over 100 years.
It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happened. I mean, if in San Francisco, granted, he still got 40% of the vote, but to have that kind of result, I mean, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating.
And it was led by a minority vote, right? Yeah. Like that was the thing when you look at the demos and the breakdowns. This is a plug for Elections Daily. Always look to them for good maps and good information. And they have several writers that were attached to that. But one mapper did an incredible breakdown of the demos on this. And it was Asian minority voters who really led this recall charge. And you know what? Good for them, because they should not have to feel unsafe in the cities that they live in, that they pay taxes in, just to protect a terrorist son who is elected DA.
He's a garbage person. I can't. He's awful human being.
His recall speech was straight up effing garbage.
I despise him. There's few. I mean, there's a handful of lefty politicos that I truly despise, and he's in that category. Additionally, I mean, it looks like we might get some movement on possible gun legislation. And I think actually, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this, because I know the true intention of Democrats. They want to repeal the Second Amendment, but largely. But to raise the purchase of a firearm or an AR-15 to 21. Is basically what it comes down to. Stronger red flag laws. I mean, what do you think? This is one of those where once the camel's nose gets under the tent, so to speak, they're going to want more, which they're going to want more. But if they stick it to raising it to 21, what do you? I mean, it's a tough one to like. So many other rules, constitutional. Drinking a beer.
I think that one, the 21 one, was booted. I think Cornyn was like away. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I thought I read today that was part of it. I personally think I think if you're going to go this route,
race to 21 was out of it. I mean, I thought it was yesterday. Did they include it back in?
What I read,
I haven't been really following this because like I feel like when both sides of like Democrats or Republicans move together towards bipartisanship, and especially on guns, like Democrats have no clue what they're talking about on guns. Usually. So it's like the Republicans coming in and holding their hand and being like, okay, let's.
Well, they're gonna get like some moderate, a moderate law that raises the purchase age to 21. And I mean, here's the thing. You can say like prior to saying that, which is the first time I've really heard it. All the other laws that they wanted to propose never would have stopped any previous shooting. This one, you can say, I mean, the killers they were 18, they purchased their firearm. Okay, so like the law would have been in place. They would not have been legally able to do so. So I mean, it begs the question. And I would, along with this, I think I tweeted out. You saw this, was like, well, okay, if we're gonna go there, then what about voting? I think I'll trade you voting for this. Like that, we raise the voting age to 21. Make everything 21. Now I'm pretty sure it's cigarettes. You have to be 21 in a lot of states. And do I have that right? I know you have to. I
don't know. I'm from the South, Jeff. They allow everything.
Well, yeah, those.
And not in Massachusetts. Like in Massachusetts,
you have to be 21 for alcohol, 21 for I want to say cigarettes. That might have changed in the past few years. It was 18 when I was a kid. So 21 for tobacco, 21 for marijuana.
My family owns a tobacco farm. I don't smoke, but thank you all for smoking.
Bad. Smoking is bad. But it can be fun. 21 for marijuana where it's legal. I mean, the weird part about that is you can join the armed forces at 19, have access to a machine gun. A true machine gun, an automatic weapon,
and because of the Democrats, you don't get kicked off your parents' health insurance till you're 26.
I mean, back in Vietnam, right, the voting age was 21. So, I think I have that right. Because then that was part of the big deal. They lowered it to 18. Maybe raise it back up. Everything's 21.
Can you imagine?
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay.
The thing is that I'm in my 30s now. Like I would be fine with that if the decision was made because I think the kids are not all right. But like it's like, can you imagine like how crazy everyone would go?
So I'll be curious to see what happens.
But the lib adults are not adults, really, right?
Yeah. Well, they want to lower the age to 16, right? Raise it for everything.
Absolutely
else.
Not.
We have had, let's see what else. I saw a lot of parents taking their kids to drag shows because you just want to own those conservatives. Like, oh, you're showing us by warping your kid, taking them to fucking drag queen shows. I mean, hey, it's your kid. You have the right to fuck them up. But at some point, maybe child services should be called because this stuff is this is bonkers. Here's the thing, Kaitlin, this is not about them being all tolerant and yay pride. They're doing it because conservatives are calling it out as a horrible thing to happen, and it is a horrible thing. It's a sexualized show that has no business being in front of children, and this is just a thumb in the eye to everybody who is on our side. It's like they just reactively say no to anything that anybody on the right criticizes. And
like that's
to the detriment of your kid.
Okay, so yeah, like we can talk about the drag show, and that's the thing. Yeah, your kids should not be at drag shows. Like drag shows are meant to be that's the thing. Drag is an over-sexualized fictional portrayal, like a caricature of a woman, and it's men doing it, right? Like that's kind of what it is provocative about it, that people why are we trying to normalize it? It's supposed to be provocative, right? When
because
That's normal. It's not provocative anymore. It's just normal.
They're just
And
grooming. But this is like it when everybody got upset a couple of months ago when we started calling, you know, the people that wanted that groomers. You're earning that label, folks. You're earning that label, and it is. All right, a little potpourri of things. We covered January 6th, Trump, DeSantis. You know, about as we gave as much attention as the mainstream media did to a Supreme Court assassination attempt. You know, the kids are in front of drag shows. Guns might be raised to 21. I don't know. We miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, like, and we talked about the economy on the Patreon.
Yes, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/RhinoPod. Thank you to all our new members. We gained a couple of members from the Mass GOP convention. And thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. So head on over there, only $1 a month, and you get extra content from Kaitlin and I every week-ish. Anything else? Go Celtics.
Yeah, go Celtics. We're glad you're in the finals.
Game 6, do or die, no matter what, Thursday night. Hopefully, when this episode is done, I can cheer a win, a come-from-behind win. I will check the score. The score is, 32-26 with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. All right, down by 6. Very good.
Not bad. Yeah.
Until next week, what do we have coming up? Maybe we bring it back to local. We've got some good stuff coming around. You know, we got to book somebody. We got to bring somebody on. I don't know. We got to figure something out.
We can find our.
You think Sonia Chang Diaz would come on the show?
Oh, I don't know.
I want to ask her.
That'd be interesting. Why don't you ask her?
All right, I'll tweet at her, see if she says yes.
We should tweet at Ayanna Presley, see if she'll come on.
No, that's a waste of keystrokes. Ayanna Presley.
Well, that's the thing. On. Bring her on, and I will charm her. And Jeff, you'll just argue with her.
Yeah, I would. I would totally argue. Yeah, you know what, Sonia Chang Diaz. You know, look, you could take the clip and make a video of it, like and say that, you know, you took on conservatives or something like that. I think it'd be pretty good. All right, until next time, folks, we will let you go. Have a great week. Stay cool, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.